Welcome to Gaming Accessibility Reviews. I'm Emily, and today I am reviewing the visual accessibility of Cities Skylines on the PlayStation 5. Cities Skylines is a city simulation game where you can build a city from the ground up, including roads, zoning, public transportation, and more. This game has a lot of elements to manage, including utilities, taxes, budget, education, services, and more. You can strategize and manage everything well to create a thriving city, or just see what you can get away with and create some questionable towns. But how does the visual accessibility hold up? Can you play this game if you're visually impaired? Let's start by taking a look at the accessibility available in the game. If we go to options, there aren't actually dedicated accessibility features in this game. But that doesn't mean we can't make a few adjustments to the game to make it easier to play with vision loss. When I was looking at the graphics options, which is new in the remastered version, I noticed that you can adjust the colors of grass pollution and water pollution to some pretty high contrast colors. Pollution is one thing you need to keep a close eye on in this game, and changing the colors to make it stick out more is a huge bonus. I'm not sure that that's why the setting was added in the game, but I'll take what I can get. There are also some built-in filters so you can do a little bit of color correction in the game. This is mostly just basic filters and simple effects, but for certain types of vision loss, you may find one of the filters helpful. You can also adjust the lighting or time of day and the fogginess, which can make things easier to see. Under gameplay options, you can choose to enable or disable dynamic weather. When dynamic weather is enabled, you may get effects like fog or rain, which make it difficult to see, so it may be best to disable it. Same with using the night-day cycles. Nighttime in the game is really pretty, but it makes it very difficult to see what you're working on. Disabling these features can give you the best lighting conditions for your vision. I also like to make sure Hide Faraway Notification icons is disabled. If it is enabled, you may not notice important problems if you are zoomed out too far or in a different part of the map. Keeping this disabled means you will be alerted if something needs your attention. I would also recommend enabling chirper messages. These are essentially tweets from the citizens of your town, and they range from funny jokes to actual important information to pay attention to, such as if there's a problem with one of your services. The chirper messages also make a noise when they appear. That means that even if the top of the screen isn't in your field of view, the noise will prompt you to look and get important information about your city. However, the notification doesn't stay up very long, even if you pause the game, so you need to be ready to read fast. Finally, in the options, you have a choice to automatically bulldoze certain abandoned buildings, which can make managing your city easier compared to having to hunt for the icon and locating the building to bulldoze it. So those are the settings we can adjust in-game that might make it a little easier to play with vision loss. But there are a lot of other features of the game itself that make it fairly accessible to play. One thing is the ability to adjust the speed and pause the game. We've talked before about how people with vision loss may take longer to read or process visual information. Pausing the game or keeping it at a slow pace may make it easier to manage all of the visual information. And although the game isn't very high contrast in the regular mode, once you start looking at the info views, the important information is highlighted quickly. When looking at the electricity availability, powered parts of the city are in blue against a white background. When looking at the noise pollution, loud areas are marked in red against a white background. The natural resources view also highlights resources in yellow, green, blue, and black. These high contrast views help to make the important information stand out even to those with vision loss. I like that the icons for information are simple and easy to understand. I also like that for the most part, text is white on a black background. Although it's not universal, many people with vision loss find this easier to read than other contrasting colors. I'm playing on a 50-inch TV in this footage, and although it doesn't show on your screen, the icons and text are scaled up pretty large, which I appreciate. However, on a smaller screen, the icons won't look as large. In addition to what is in the game, you can use built-in accessibility on your device to zoom in on the screen. I'm using the PlayStation Zoom feature here. The magnification means you can zoom into the icons, buildings, notifications, or whatever other information you need to see. If the font size is still too small, you could use apps like Seeing AI or Be My Eyes to read the information for you. Finally, the gameplay itself lends the game to being fairly accessible. You can play how you want at the pace you want. You can try and reach the goals in the game, or you can just mess around or create chaos. You can choose to have unlimited money and resources to build however you want, or to take the challenge of managing the city's economy. This means you can play the game however is easiest or most entertaining for you. This can be a lot easier and low pressure compared to games that require quick decision making or live online gameplay. Now, let's talk about some things that would make this game even more accessible. 1. Text size adjustment options. An option to adjust the text size and UI scale in the game is always appreciated. Zooming in can help a bit with reading, but adjusting the text size and icons in general would be more effective. 2. Color blindness settings. This would make this game even easier to play for people who can't differentiate certain colors. The main colors the game uses are green, orange, and blue for zoning, and red, green, or teal in the info views. Orange, red, and green are usually difficult colors to differentiate with color blindness. In this simulator, you can see how someone with red-green color blindness would see the colors. It's impossible to tell the difference between industrial and residential zones. Color blindness settings, like ones available in other games, would allow someone to change these colors to ones that are easier to differentiate for their specific vision. Another option is to use different symbols for the colors as well. 3. Screen reader. As always, a screen reader with the game would be great. Even if someone has enough vision to play the game, it can still be difficult to read text, especially if they are experiencing visual fatigue. Screen readers make the game that much easier and more accessible for those with vision loss. So we talked about the basic pros and cons of visual accessibility in Cities Skylines. Next, I'm going to rate the game on a 5-star scale based off of each of the major types of visual impairments: color, contrast, acuity, visual field, and total blindness. This rating is based off of my own experience, not as someone who is visually impaired, but as someone who works with people who are daily. 1. Color, 1 star. This game uses almost exclusively non-colorblind friendly colors for important information like zoning types, availability of services, and more. When I was zoning with the color blindness simulator on, I could tell no difference between residential and industrial zones. Either adding an option to change the color or assigning icons in addition to the color for things like zoning types would make it much easier for someone with color blindness to play. 2. Contrast, 4 stars. I like that by default, the text and icons are fairly high contrast. The info views are also very high contrast. I think it'd be helpful if some of these in-between colors were more differentiated from one another, but otherwise it looks good. Turning off weather effects and day-night cycles can help with contrast too, but I did notice that it was sometimes difficult to tell where I was building or zoning, which is why it isn't a 5-star rating. 3. Acuity, 3 stars. I like that you can zoom into the screen. I also like that the font style is readable. It'd be great to be able to adjust the text size and scaling to make it even easier to see with acuity loss. Same as with contrast, it can be difficult with acuity impairments to tell where you are zoning or building, which gives it a lower score. 4. Visual field, 3 stars. There are a lot of elements at the edges of the screen that you need to keep track of, which can be difficult with field loss. But there are audio cues for the chirper messages, which can have important information, and it can prompt you to use your scanning skills to view that information. This is also another case where adjusting the text size would be helpful. Sometimes with field loss, smaller text is better because you can get more text in your field of view. It's another reason why text size options are so important for people with vision loss. 5. Total blindness, 1 star. There is no accessibility in this game for someone with no vision. That means that, overall, I am giving Cities Skylines a 3-star rating for visual accessibility. If Paradox added a few more accessibility features in this game, it would easily be a 4-star rating. This game can easily suck you in, and it's so fun to play, so I hope you get a chance to play it. When I started playing to get footage for this video, I ended up playing for several hours. It's one of those sleeper games where you forget how fun it is until you play it again. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this video. It was so fun revisiting this game. Let me know, what do you think of Cities Skylines? And what game should I review next? And finally, if you are from Montenegro, thanks for watching! I have no idea why, but 90% of my current views are from Montenegro. Maybe I will have to visit sometime. I appreciate your support. I'm Emily, and I'll catch you next time.